I was a former foster youth. I also experienced the juvenile justice system, and through both the systems, I was exposed to child sex trafficking. And just seeing the cycle of criminalization, I decided that I wanted to advocate for this issue for girls who, at this point, remain voiceless.
What we have found is that foster children are particularly vulnerable to this. And there are many, many reasons for that. Many foster children do not have strong ties with their families or communities because of family dysfunction and from having been moved around from family to family and throughout the community.
And then they become so numb to this process of being put on the street and getting arrested and being put back on the street and getting arrested, and that's all they know. And a lot of times pimps want them to get arrested or want them to end up in a foster care or whatever the case, because they have the ability to recruit when they do that.
These traffickers are very smart, they're very street savvy, and they understand how the system works. They know that the kids in foster care are more vulnerable. They know that they're looking for someone to love them. As a result of this, they very actively target kids who are in foster care or kids who are out on the streets alone. And when I realized that threatening them with these sort of punishments was just not effective, I realized that I needed to find another way to engage them and help them. So now, after developing this program, I work with very well-trained and very, very dedicated attorneys and advocates and probation officers. And I get a sense from the girls how they're doing, whether or not they're going to be graduating from high school, whether or not they need help getting a dress for the prom, or any other assistance that a teenage kid might need. What is important is building a relationship with them, and we do that by being consistent with them, by responding when they ask for questions, by being there, and by seeing them much more often than most of the players in the system usually do.
There have been a lot of things taking place on a county level, on a city level, on a state level, especially within California, where our legislatures and our officials are starting to notice that child sex trafficking is a huge problem that's been ignored for way too long, and they are putting systems in place to make sure that police officers are trained, social workers are trained, teachers are trained, and foster care parents are trained. And so what I want to see happening, and what I feel is starting to happening, but just not on a large enough scale, is that there's intervention and that these girls are being rescued and they're not put back in the same environments.
From my perspective, the most important factor in helping foster kids to not fall into this trap is to educate them early, to let them know that there are people out there who may approach them and offer them many things, but not necessarily be good for them. They need to understand that. And they need to have choices. They need to have adults and mentors who are meaningful to them so that they aren't as likely to want the attention of some stranger.
These girls can aspire to be anything they want, and they need to see that they can grow up and be lawyers and doctors and politicians and teachers. And they're not going to see that unless we show them that this is important, that they're important, and that they matter, and that regardless of what they've been through, they can still grow up and be anything that they want to. So they need to see that, we need to show them that, and they need to know that there is life beyond sexual exploitation.